Hello, I'm back again. I hope you can all see me. I keep losing you. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for coming back. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to avoid another blackout here. I will post the rest of this. This is, can't seem to get past Punky. She loves that. If you look over in a little doll bed over here, which I'll explain another time, there's an American Girl doll, and that is, she's a World War I doll, Edwardian doll. And I think her name is Samantha, I'm pretty sure. Maybe some of you would know. There's a wonderful violin case, which I'll show you another time. It has some secrets, just like the witch's house. So, in the corner, and I hope we won't black out again, is a doll bed. It's an American Girl doll bed, which for the early American Revolutionary colonial doll of American Girl collection. This was the first one that came out, and when Rachel was little, we were able to get it. The reason I'm showing you this is a very good reason, is that it's a good lesson for where we are now. Twyla's parents, Bob and Darlene Allwine, decided to surprise Rachel, and they made the canopy bed. He made it all by hand out of wood, and then Darlene did all the sewing and did the curtains. All of it was made by them, and it was a big surprise for one Christmas. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you have the patience to go back and repeat this video because it's really wonderful. I'm sorry for all the stops and starts. Maybe I'll go back, I'll do this and go backwards so that we can keep our reception. So out of this room to the right is Abigail's Dress, which I've already mentioned. On the floor is a World's Fair machine-made reproduction of a beautiful French chateau landscape. And it happens to be here. We used it for a Downton Abbey party this last summer. This is a desk I mentioned with my mother's, my adopted mother's picture over it. This desk, I never realized what it was, but it was photographed on the day that I got my official name, Isley, and was adopted. Next to that is a wonderful old, I think, photograph. We'll be looking at portrait photographs and things at a later date. Tomorrow we'll be looking at painted portraits. Thanks for coming back, everyone. So that is my dad and his brother. Both boys and girls wore dresses in those days. It would have been, he was born in 1901, and it must have been about 1905 or 6 there when this was done. It was a formal portrait. Everyone had one in a Victorian house. It was at the eve of using photographs as portraiture. So there are plenty of other things here that I will show you, but we'll do it another time. I'm going to walk down the stairs and repeat what I did and see if this works better. And I deleted a couple of our false starts because it was just too much. I couldn't get the reception. So now coming down the stairs, for those of you who hadn't seen it, this is a small dough bin that I used for the gallery for storing framed prints. And I use this, from the Washington Arts Group, when Twyla was very pregnant with Abigail, we used it as a prop for a manger for an Advent, a wreath-making party, and the observance of Advent. At that time, there were not a lot of people celebrating Advent, except in certain parts of the church. And in Washington, no one was making Advent wreaths. And so we had I think we had almost 75 to 100 people there, and we all, including children, we all made Advent wreaths. So I was up talking about St. Nicholas dressed up as him, and Rachel came up with all the children and sat at my feet. While I was talking and pontificating, she whispers up to me, "I know it's you, Dad. I see your feet and your shoes." So going on, this trough was to my right, and we filled it with hay to simulate the manger. We had 2 torchieres with candles and tried to set up more or less a Christmas feeling in the room. The room was a huge, beautiful Beaux-Arts ballroom in the Red Cross headquarters. Twyla, again, as I say, was very pregnant, and in fact, both the time we had big arts group events when we were pregnant, both Rachel and Abigail were delivered about 2 days later, or 3. So this was filled with straw, and I had finished talking, and I was trying to introduce a dance group and a music session, and all of a sudden I see Rachel has broken away from her nanny. We had, in the boardroom, we had set up a prep room for the reception. There used to be this most wonderful restaurant called Le Ruche, the Beehive, and they made the most amazing tarts, and you could buy them by the yard. And so we had 2 yard-long tarts in our tiny Honda Accord, and almost succumbed, all of us. Anyway, so while I was talking, and all of a sudden Rachel comes running up the aisle, breaking away from her nanny, and I love Rachel because she always likes to be in the middle of everything. It's been her trait since she was young. She gets up and crawls into the manger and pretends she's falling asleep in the hay. The baby Jesus is Rachel, or Rachel is Jesus. So here comes Twyla up the aisle in a huge tent of a Laura Ashley pregger's dress, and grabs Rachel out of the cradle and hauls her out under her arms. Anyway, it was a wonderful evening, and it was just a lot of fun. So now we're coming down the stairs, and as I say, tomorrow we'll be talking about 3 or 4 portraits, painted portraits from different periods, and there'll be an ongoing curatorial session on portraits and photographs and objects, as we've been doing. At the bottom of the stairs here, you can see a trunk. This trunk has the name Max on it. Well, none of us know who Max is, but it came into the marriage through Twyla. She just thought it was very cool, and it's from the 20s or 30s, and there was 3 matched pieces. We gave one to Twyla's sister, and we have the other 2 for our girls. Here in the corner, below the feet of Rachel's portrait, which I'll show you another time, is a wonderful little chair. It's a little French-style, hand-carved wood, handmade chair, one of a kind, and original webbing. And it belonged to a lady who passed away in it would have been, I was living in Georgetown, so it would have been in the 70s or early 80s, somewhere in there. And it's a child's chair, the scale. And in it are sitting 2 dolls that Twyla and I purchased in Russia right after the fall of the Soviet Union. A lot of the actors and dancers and costume designers at Mariinsky had no jobs like we're having now because of the fall of the Soviet Union. Everything was in chaos. And so the costume designers made these puppet-like dolls. And this is a man and a woman. You see the man's hat and the woman's scarf. And I love the feet. They have these wonderful facsimile of peasant Russian shoes. And see the patch on the man's pants? It's cool. Anyway, it's just fun to show you all these things. And I want to end with talking to you actually about something that happened this morning. I'm going to position the video. I hope you don't get seasick here. And again, I want to invite you to join with me tonight at 7. We'll be reading chapter 9 about going into the witch's house, and there are lots of mysteries there. But I want to tell you a story, and I want to encourage you all to do this. There is, every morning I've tried to find somewhere else. I'm back. Hi everyone, stick with me here, we're almost done. There's a dead spot in the stairs. So I'll just hold this and talk to you. So, oh no, that's no good. Hang on. I think this will work. I'm pretty sure it'll work. Okay, so this morning I took a walk over in Winchester. I found this amazing park. It's just absolutely wonderful. And as I started to walk, I saw someone in a gazebo, covered picnic table building, and I walked up and looked, and he had a shopping cart, and there happened to be a electrical outlet on the post of the roof. And so he had plugged in a coffee pot, a percolating coffee, drip, like Mr. Coffee, something like that, and he was making his own coffee. And he looked like he was homeless, I couldn't tell. And I just said, wow, that's really great you have a plug, I'm glad you can make coffee. And he looked up, and I was totally taken back. And this is the story I want to tell. It's like Mother Teresa that said, Jesus comes to us in the face of those in need. And Jesus came to me in his face. So I thought, I want to do something for him. So I took my walk to see if he was still there, and I came back. He had on a t-shirt, or a sweatshirt and a hoodie, and he was finishing up his dinner. He was very meticulously cleaning the table and cleaning up everything, and he had just a shopping cart with some things in it. So I went over to him and I said, do you need anything? He said, no, I'll be getting a paycheck next week. I don't know if that's really the truth. Anyway, I did not take a picture of him for you to see because I didn't want to mess with his privacy. However, I do want to tell you the story. So we talked, and I said, do you need food? Is there anything you need? He says, well, I'm here through next Thursday. I'll be here just about every day, and would love to see you when you come back. And so I said, well, thank you very much. He said, no, I'm fine. I'm getting a paycheck, and I'm here. And I think I'll be okay. But I just kind of distressed that because he had only a shopping cart with some things in it, some old bottles. But he did have food. So as we left, I asked him, I was just so moved by the despair in his face, which began to lighten up when I came back and talked to him. He had had some food and caffeine, which probably helped. Anyway, as I left, I thought, oh, I need to go back and say who I am. And so I went back and I said, my name's Jerry. And I said, what's your name? And it was the most interesting thing. Hi, Samantha Omi, I'm glad you're here. It was the most interesting thing. I came back and asked him his name, and I said, my name is Jerry. And he said, I said, what is your name? He very hesitantly said, Jeremy. And I had the feeling he was making it up, and that's when I realized that angels, he was either an angel or an angel had sent him to say something to me. And I'm so glad for that revelation. I really would ask all of you to see someone in need and offer a hand, whatever it might be, just even of encouragement. Don't assume that all of us are locked cozily in our houses. April 1st is coming. As a friend of mine who worked in the restaurant business said, Doomsday is April 1st. I know that the government is giving us relief, but a lot of people are going to face homelessness, which I think this man was. In any case, whether he was an angel, he was definitely incarnated in a real human body. And whether an angel sent him or he was an angel, it doesn't really matter. The fact is that God spoke to me, and I asked for all of you to pray. For people like Jeremy, you can pray for Jeremy. I would appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderful time. I want to close with a wonderful toy suggestion for your kids. One second here. My cousin Megan, who's the ultimate supermom with 4 children, posted the most wonderful pictures. She went out to the driveway, and it's a wonderful idea for each one of you to do if you like to do this and you feel creative. She had lots of chalk, and so she took like blue masking tape and made the outline, made a perfectly long rectangular frame, and then in it used the tape like stained glass, like abstract pattern of stained glass. And so she had each one of the kids use different colored chalk to fill it in. It was the most amazing thing. There's so many things you can do if you have any kind of ingenuity, things that are laying around your house. And I really would encourage you to come up with those. My good friend Fiona and Marcus, who live in Colorado Springs, their young son wanted to make a wagon for his dog. And it's the sweetest thing. It's posted, I believe, on Facebook. When we first talked about it, she's from Scotland, and he's from Montana. Anyway, she said, well, we're going to go out and make a carriage or wagon for Kulin, their dog. It's a really cute terrier. Anyway, so he tries making, and I said, well, you should have at least an umbrella for his royal personage. I'm joking. Anyway, they sent me a picture of it. She said, well, it didn't quite turn out the way we planned, and it is the most amazing little cart. It's just made out of, it looks like a storage basket covered and then somehow on wheels. It is the coolest thing, and Kulin and Andrew are in it riding down the driveway. So with that, I look forward to seeing you tonight at 7. Both of these will be posted. This one will definitely be the final one that's posted because I've been able to get through all of it in reverse. So thank you all for coming, and then tomorrow we'll be talking about portraiture in oil paintings, and then tomorrow night we'll be doing chapter 10.